हेलो साथीहरू नमस्कार। वेलकम अल अफ यू टु माई च्यानल। आजको डिस्कसनमा मुख्यतः हामी चाहिँ जियोपोलिटिकल इभोल्युसन्स फर्स्ट क्वार्टर अफ 21st सेन्चुरी बिकज वी अलरेडी फिनिस फर्स्ट क्वार्टर अफ 21st सेन्चुरी र आजको डिस्कसन भनेको जो आई हेभ टेकन द ब्रोडली रेफरेन्स अफ डिप्लोमेट म्यागजिन which was published on 31st December 2025. And apart from, I also reviewed the so many newspaper globally and the national level too, friends. And so which talk about broadly economic crisis, political instability, and the geopolitical paradigm, friends. Now, based on this background, now let's talk about the what about the let's discuss the that's a wonderful quotations. That's geopolitical forecasts are often an exercise in anticipating the future and the balancing act between reality and possibility. But don't forget that the future is also shaped by the choice we make today. Okay, that's other these authors. We could not find it anyway. That's a quotation I have taken from the Diplomat magazine. And in this second half of the 20th century, the world was largely divided in between the one is the Eastern Bloc led by Soviet Union, while the Western Bloc led by United States under the Cold War paradigms, while United Nations established on October 24, 1949 after Second World War. Now thus the world entered a new geopolitical era after the fall of Berlin Wall on 9th November 1989, which signaled the border shift in the global politics and the end of Cold War situation. You could see this picture, friends. Now next one is that while the Soviet Union was collapsed on December 25, 1991. This is all about your historical fact I'm talking about here. So this is all about your Moscow, December 25, 1991. You could see that's the Soviet Union was collapsed. 1991 is a wonderful research area if you are doing research in the political history in international paradigms context. Now let's talk about what about the NATO, EU, and the G7. Despite friends, the exchange of international framework like Geneva Convention 1949, yeah, that's the NPT, Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty in 1970, while Universal Declaration of the Human Rights December 10, 1948. There have been a numerous violations of the international law and the human rights abuse we could find, friends. Now, the 20th century was marked by the two major world wars. That's the First World War, which happened on July that's 28, 1914 to November 11, 1918, while the World War II, that's September 1st, 1939 to 2nd September 1946, and that ended with the Japan's surrender after the atomic bombings, and with which redraw the borders, alter the power balances, and gave rise to the new geopolitical paradigm trends. Now, what about the we see that NATO, that's North Atlantic Treaty Organizations, which was established on April 1949, is all about your collective security for Western Europe against the growing threat of Soviet expansion and spreading the communism. While EU, that's the European Union, which was established on the November 1st, 1993, with the hope of that's a peace, stability, economic integration, and the political union. And what about the friends that is the G7, which is all about to establish on November 15, 1975. This is all about your response to the we see that economic crisis response, that is 1973 oil crisis and the financial instability from the collapse of the fixed exchange rate system, that's Bretton Woods, and the economic coordination that you could see the picture of, that's a G7, and this is all about your the NATO leaders posing for the family photo, and this is the European Union logo, you can say that. Okay, now let's talk about the friends that's the BRICS, which was established on 16th June 2009, and which was established basically as an alternative to Western dominance like G7, and positioned the organization as an political counter to the US-led global system. And simply we can say that for the work to advance the de-dollarizations and the alternative financial system like IMF, World Bank, to just bypass the Western pressures. And next one is that boost political, economic, social, and technology. That's the paced corporations to promote the sustainable development and the reform the global governance. That's all about the brief background of the BRICS. Okay, and where you can see that this is the Brazil, Russia, India, China, and the South Africa. Okay, these are the, we can say that uh, it's a big leaders teams of that's the five country BRICS. We can say that. Now let's talk about the next one is what about the global shift? Yeah, global conflicts from 2000 to 2025. Now let's starting from the that's September 11, 2001, which on which date that's Al Qaeda attacked against United States and whole international financial market, including the overall we can say that fear of terrorism. We can say that yeah, it started. We can say that on this date, while December 30, that's 2006, Saddam Hussein was sentenced to death by hanging because of his overall uh, some action against the humanity. We can say that, and that's March 15, 2011 to December 8, 2024. That's the Syria civil war. While from 2015 to present, that's Yemen proxy war. While August 15, 2021, collapse of Afghan government. On this date, Taliban took over the that's Afghanistan. We can say that yeah, that's Afghan government, and since February 24, 2022 till date, that's a Russia and Ukraine war still going on. October 7, 2023, that's Israel was struck by the terrorist Hamas. Still, that's a war situation going on. That's a June 13, 2025 to June 24, 2025. That's Israel-Iran war. That's we can say that armed conflict. And even we could find this news about your Genji movement have been widespread and anti-government protest in Iran since the end of December 2025, and still this movement is going on against the that's Iranian president. We can say that. Okay. Now, next, let's talk about the what about the political unrest, economic crisis, Sri Lanka, Pakistan, and the Bangladesh. That's July 13, 2022. We know that the power struggle between the President uh, Gotabaya, and that's the people of Sri Lanka, and which again that's about the anti-government protest and demonstration by the public resulted from the, we know that the economic crisis happened in that's Sri Lanka. And what about the May 9, 2024? That's all about your that's arrest of former Prime Minister of Pakistan Imran Khan on the charge of again corruption, which triggered the nationwide protest. And next one is that August 5, 2024. That is a protest, student protest against the uh, that's a they were demanding for the quota reforms movement, and which causes the, we know that constitutional crisis, and the Sheikh Hasina flight shifted to India. We all know that it faces the political unrest, uncertainty a year after leader Hasina resignation. Still, the overall situation of the Bangladesh, so we can see that is the political unrest, uncertainty, even led by the Muhammad Yunus, friends. Okay. Now let's talk about the what about the case of Indian context. So let's starting from the December 13, 2001. That's the Indian parliament attacked by the Jaish-e Mohammed terrorist group, while 26, 20, 26, 29 November 2008, that's the Mumbai attack by the Luxury Taiba, and again September 18, 2016, that is a military attack on the Indian Army base in Uri, that's in Jammu and Kashmir, and killed the 19 soldier. And again, that's September 2000, that's 29, 2016, Indian defense personnel carried out a defense surgical strike against that terrorist. We know that. And next one is the February 14, 2019, that is a suicide terror attack in Pulwama. That's is conducted by the Jaish-e Mohammed terrorist, which causes the killed of 40 Indian Army, and then the Balakot strike by the Indian Air Force dated 26 February 2019 on the Pakistan-based Jaish-e Mohammed terrorist camps. And the next one is that April 20, 2025. That's a tragic terrorist attack. Again, killed 26 innocent, mostly Hindu tourists. That's the tourist. And the May 7 to 10, we know that Indian Air Force wonderfully launched the Operation Sindoor in Pakistan and Pakistan occupied Kashmir, followed by Pahalgam terror attack, friends. Now let's talk about what about the case of our country, Nepal. So Nepal, we can say that is still overall political, social, yeah, economic situation not so sound. And let's starting from 2001, June 1st, where on this date, Nepal's royal palace, that's the massacre, that's the Darbar Hatyakand, we see that took place. And April 6 to April 25, 2006, that is the People's Movement. We see that Jan Andolan second and first Jan Andolan happened in 1990, okay, in Nepal, that lasted for 19 days against the King Gyanendra absolute rule. And again, that's the 1996 2006, that's all about the Maoist formally ended a decade long civil war after the comprehensive peace accord, we see that, which happened on this date, November 22, 2006. And here, that's January 15, 2005. We can say that in Bikram Samvat 2063, the interim constitution of Nepal was introduced, and which nullified the constitution of Nepal, constitutional kingdom of Nepal, on that's of which introduced on November 9, 1990, that is a 2047 Bikram Samvat, and that's September 20, 2015. Ultimately, that's also 2072 Bikram Samvat. Constitution of Nepal was introduced as a federal democratic republic as in Nepal, and however the political landscape remains volatile since 2006, friends. So September 8 to 5, 2015, again the corruptions, unemployment, and the poor governance escalated that's Gen Z protest in Nepal, and which resulted the KP Oli led government collapse. But still, that's a suspense. Yeah, Gen Z movement. Is it because of corruption, unemployment, yeah, poor governance, yeah, some other issues, which is induced by United States? That might be the some like political analysts used to say like this, friends. Basically, today we discuss about it's all about first quarter of 21st century. We discuss about what happened globally, and we also talk about the Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, Pakistan, including the Nepal. Let's hope that after this first quarter of 21st century, that means 2026 will bring the peace and prosperity globally, and it would induce the overall economic development too globally, friends, and in our context too. If you really like this content, please like, subscribe, and also share my channel, that is the Finance Guru, Pawan Kumar Jha. Thank you all of you for watching this video. Please take care all of you. Thank you.